And what do you say? Here come the devil. Here come the enemy. Here come they negativity. Here come they come to rule on your parade. What happens is you give them the power to control your emotions. Don't allow people the ability to control what it is they did not give you. If you didn't wake me up this morning, you can't control how my day's going to be. If you didn't let me operate in grace and mercy, you can't dictate how my life is going to be. The only person that gets to do that is Jesus, is God. No one dictates how I get blessed but God. So here we go. Let's jump into this text. Anybody want to read this text? Anybody want to read? Sean, you can read it. Verse 5. Uh-oh. Mm. Verse 11. Mm. Mm. Verse 12. Mm. Uh-oh. This is where we get our subject from tonight. Makes sense to anybody yet? Your house, you have sacrificed it. You've opened it up for people to come in and lay on your couch. Y'all quiet in here. You have been uncomfortable in your dwelling. And not one time did they come back and tell you thank you. Not one time did they come back and say, I appreciate you for allowing me to come and sleep in your house all these years, all these months, all these weeks, all these days, and not one time did you ask them for a dime to pay a bill. But here it is. You made a sacrifice. You sacrificed your children's room to make sure that your guests had a place to lay down. You sacrificed your peace of mind in your house. And so God is simply saying that now that I heard your prayer, I am about to reward you for your sacrifice. I am going to bless you for making the sacrifice for somebody that could not stand you, but was just using you. And so God is simply saying, you have been faithful over the small. Now I'm about to make you ruler over much. And so here it is. He operated, Solomon built this house. He made sacrifice after sacrifice, as we have done with this church. We've made sacrifice, raising money, getting money, selling pupusas and tacos and enchiladas and weave hair and fingernails. We are selling everything we can find to make sure that we are able to what? Make sure that God's house is what? Taken care of. When you take care of God's house, he'll take care of your house. That's word, that's biblical, that's doctrine. And so Solomon is finding out firsthand, not only am I about to be blessed, but my whole family is about to be blessed. Everybody connected to me is about to be blessed. All because I made the sacrifice to do what God has called me to do. Here it is. Even when it is unpopular, I made a sacrifice. Even when it didn't sit well with other people, I made the sacrifice. Even when people didn't agree with me doing what I'm supposed to do for God, I made the sacrifice to follow God. Following God is a sacrifice. You are sacrificing your livelihood to follow somebody that you can't even see. And people will question, why are you following somebody you can't see, but you got a bad attitude, but you call yourself a Christian? Huh? And so you're sacrificing yourself because he didn't say every day was going to be beautiful and happy all the time. He did tell you that you are going to have some days of trouble. And how you deal with those days of trouble, how you deal with those broke days, those lonely days, those days of you struggling, those sacrificial days that you make where you robbing Peter to pay Paul. Anybody know about them days? That's a sacrifice. You paying your tithes and offering, giving to the Lord, and then you got shut off notices, and you got this notice, and you owe this, you got, what's the pink? They don't give pink notices no more. Pink slip. The light company don't give pink slip. They say it's a emergency. Final notice. Anybody ever got one of them notices? It's a urgent, open immediately. Well, I come to tell you, God is about to send your blessing just as immediate as that shut-off notice was. God is in a season where he's about to favor you for making the sacrifice. So what you have sown, you're about to reap. If you ain't sown nothing into the house of God, don't look for nothing to reap, because you ain't made no sacrifice. If every time somebody asks you to do something, move something, and you copped an attitude, you ain't doing it with a sacrificial heart. You're doing it because somebody asked you and you're tired of people asking you. When you do something with a sacrifice in mind, you do it from your heart. Back in the day, biblical standard, the biblical text says that the word sacrifice meant that they were offering bullocks and lambs and oxen and things like that. How do we offer stuff? By giving God our time, giving God our hearts, giving God our lives, giving God what's due to him, when it is due to him, how it's due to him, without question or regret. Most people, when God asks you to sow something, now here it is, I'm going to tell y'all this. I was at a service just recently, and when you're a pastor, you're a bishop, when you're one of them people, how many of you know you run into sacrifice a lot? You sacrifice a lot of stuff. You sacrifice money that you know you ain't got. So I was at a service just recently, and they start calling out $300 line, right? And the lady was like, yeah, Bishop Williams, I know you got $300. If I do got it, I mean, I wasn't planning. I was saying to myself, I know Ashley's sitting behind me. And I know in her head, she like, if you pull that $300 out, if you pull that $300 out and you give it, we're going to have a problem. But here it is. Sometime you have to go against the grain in order for God to bless you. So what did I do? I sold the $300. It wasn't popular in my house because we didn't really have it to spare at that moment. But God says, if you give it to me, I'm going to give it back to you. The next day a check came. When you take care of God's business, because they were taking care of the man of God's house. Can we raise this money so he can get some carpet and this, that, and the other, and we want to start the offering of $300. Why you pick on me first? That was me making a sacrifice. I know I had it. I didn't want to give it to you. That $300 could have went to something else. But I remembered that we're in a place of needing somebody to sow a seed. And however they're sowing it, it may have been a sacrifice. So Solomon is simply saying, whatever you're doing to the house, however you're building the house, make sure it is from a place of your sincerity. Make sure it's from your heart. Your sacrifice is coming from your heart. When you're giving a sacrifice, it's like, I ain't got it, but I'm going to just go ahead and make these pennies work. My mother-in-law's good at that. She'll come tell you, well, I really ain't got it, but I'm going to give you this anyway. I'm sacrificing this. And God blesses those who sacrifice. What happened to Jesus on the cross? He was a what? Sacrifice. And because of him dying, we became blessed. So there was a sacrifice given so that we can have access to the kingdom. Boy, if you don't sit down. The access to the kingdom came at a price. It came at him being belittled. It came at him being talked about. It came to him being questioned for his miracles. It came to a point where people looked at him and said, if you are who you say you are, why don't you save yourself? People will come into your life, Jasmine, and say, if you save like you say you are, why your God ain't providing like he should? Here it is. You may not see him providing, but he's providing. Every time I turn around, he's providing. Every time I wake up in the morning, he provided. Every time I close my eyes and I sleep on a nice pillow and I sleep in a nice bed with some nice covers, he's providing for me. He sacrificed so that I don't have to pay another price to nobody who didn't pay it for me. And so God is about to bless your hands in this season. Those that have worked, those that have sown with your hands, those that have sown with your words, you've sown with your heart. God is about to repay you in this season. He's about to give you what man can't give you. He's about to give you something, but you've got to remain faithful where you are. Look at somebody and say, do the work. Do the work. How do you do the work? By following the commandments of God. It's not easy following the 10 Commandments. It ain't easy living to the law of God. Be honest with me tonight. It ain't easy loving people who don't like you. It ain't easy giving food to people who, when you know you need it in your house. It ain't easy driving people who you know ain't going to give you no gas money. But you do it because of the Christian that you are. And there you are making a sacrifice. Let people know I'm sacrificing some stuff just to be around you. I'm giving up some friendships. Here, my family don't like you, but I'm sacrificing anyhow. People that are in relationships, you're in relationship with people that people can't stand, but you are sacrificing your livelihood to be with them. Because what? You don't care what people think or say? Because your heart does what your heart wants to do. And so when you're following your heart, everybody ain't going to agree with what your heart says. But you got to learn to tell them, this ain't your heart. This ain't your life. This ain't your sacrifice. This is my sacrifice. And I know that God is going to give back to me what I lose or what I've given up in his name. In his name. Don't you know? You can give it up. AJ, it's good to give up stuff. But if you're giving it up in his name, that's when it really means something. I'm sacrificing this in the name of what? Our Father. Not just sacrificing just to be sacrificed, but I'm sowing this seed in the name of our Father, expecting a great return. How many of you have made sacrifices through your giving financially? How many of you have almost robbed Peter to pay Paul? Can I tell you something? You may think you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, but God will never let you get that desperate. You've never been that desperate where you've robbed Peter to pay Paul. You just had a hidden treasure somewhere that you forgot about. Can I help you like that? You ain't robbing nobody. God hid that money in your pocketbook so you'll be able to do what you need to do in that moment, because there was a moment that you made a sacrifice. Sacrifices don't come easy. They come with a heavy price. To open this church was a huge sacrifice. I wanted to do music completely and not preach all the time. I wish I could do it 24/7. But God said, no, I didn't call you just to sing. I called you to deliver the word to people who are going to need it and understand it. I didn't call you just to pastor this church, but I call you to go preach at funerals and preach to other family members. I'm making I could talk about a sacrifice that I made, and Negroes slapped me in the face and kept on going. Not physically, they ain't that stupid. But they joined the church. They had COVID-19. I put them in my car, risked my life to take them, because how you get put out your own house? Can I talk about it? Let me talk about the sacrifices as a pastor that you make. In leadership, the sacrifices that I make. I took this person against the word of my wife saying, don't do it, don't get involved. When the mother said, pastor, bishop, don't do it. But my heart, because a true pastor has a heart for the people. Now, if you find a pastor that don't have compassion for others, that ain't a pastor. He's somebody who's trying to get money. And so with me knowing my heart and I'm serving people and giving to people and leading people and serving, sometimes I make a sacrifice with no reward in the end. But my lights are still on. I still got my car. I'm still living where I want to live. So there's rewards that come with the sacrifice. So I took this man, I ain't gonna name him, I ain't gonna say his name, but we all know who he is. I took him, I got called, the hospital called me, didn't know I was listed, AJ, as the next of kin. First of all, when was you gonna tell me that I was your next of kin? So I got a call, can you please come pick up so-and-so from the hospital? I said, no, I ain't coming to the hospital. But if you transport them, I'll pick them up from wherever you drop them. And they got home, and the person that was living in their house locked them out of their house and said they can't come in their house because they had COVID-19. First of all, this is my house where I pay rent. You can't kick me out. But they can, because anytime a person gets mailed to your house, they are now a resident of your house. So again, that goes with sacrifice. You make a sacrifice not knowing that Negro's going to fight you in the back end. See, everybody can't say nothing right here, because if you ain't never had to fight somebody to get out of your house, you ain't going to say nothing right here. Because the courts will tell you if they got mail coming to your house, that mean what? They live there. And so this person had COVID, me and Gamble out at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to find them a hotel room. Just for them to turn around and cuss me, talk about me on Facebook. And they're a preacher. I licensed you, ordained you, did what other people said I shouldn't have done. And then you turn around and throw me under the bus, but you won't tell them how I sacrificed my life to make sure that you were taken care of for 2 or 3 nights. Nor did you tell them that I sacrificed my pocketbook or my wallet and my time to make sure that you was in a room for the 4 nights that you were evicted out of your house by your girlfriend. But you get on Facebook and tell me I'm a fake bishop, I'm a fake preacher, I'm a this, and here it is. I could not respond. I want to help y'all, because I know this is a different type of message, and it's not your typical message, but I want to help you that the sacrifices that you all have made for people, God is going to reward you if you stay faithful and not respond to their idiocracy. Sometimes you don't need to respond to everything, because what you're about to get blessed with is way more, worth more than what you're about to lose if you respond to them. So in other words, let them talk. Let them hate on you. Let them walk out on you. Let them tell stuff about you, because they will never tell the truth of how you helped them when they didn't have it. And most of us didn't have it, but we sacrificed what we didn't have to get what you needed. When you're in love with somebody, you do some stupid stuff. Come on, young couples, talk to me in here. Anybody remember young love? Let's talk about young love. Gamble. Hershey, young love is the love that when you really feeling somebody, you get that somebody, you like, this gonna be the one. You start writing checks for them. You start letting them drive your car knowing they ain't got no license. See, y'all quiet. Y'all gonna play with me tonight. All right, it's fine. It's fine. I'll talk by myself. And if you working hard all day, every day, going to work, doing X, Y, and Z, and they driving your car. And they got the nerve to pick you up late. And then you get an attitude. Look at Sean like, And you get in the car, you happy. You ain't tripping that they pick you up late, but they snapping, talking about why you looking like that. Why I'm looking like that? You an hour and a half late. But you sacrificed to make sure. I got a couple people I did that to. I was guilty of it. I was the one that was picking up people late. But here it is. I was so bad that I had other people in the car when I picked them up. And then dared you to say something to me while we in the car. Because I'll put it in park and get out and you'll be walking down the street. I'm not walking nowhere. That's how rude I was. I did that a couple of times. I made them walk all the way from Washington all the way down to, I think it was like where Target is now over there on Obama Boulevard. I made them walk because you're not finna talk crazy to me. This your car. I know you paid a note. But I put the gas in it that got us to where we were going. So I'm going to run this gas out that I put in. That's how bad I was. But young love, you do stupid stuff. You sacrifice things to make this person feel like they're a part of you. But when they don't appreciate you is when it gets bad. Because they'll never understand, Hershey, what you sacrifice. You got family members telling me, leave them, stay away, don't do it. And I'm like, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. This is love. We in love. And they told you from the beginning that it wasn't going to work. But what you do, you held on and you sacrificed your family and friends and loved ones. And then when you dump them or y'all break up, you realize that it wasn't even worth it. Am I talking to anybody tonight? Some of us have married sacrifices. Is this mic on? Some of us are sleeping next to sacrifice. I know I ain't supposed to be sleeping with you. I ain't married. I don't really like you. I mean, you ain't all that, but I'm sacrificing my livelihood just to walk down the street with you. Because people know what your taste is. They know what your caliber is. And then when your homies see you with that, they like, ugh. Dang. And then don't let your ex see you. Y'all go the opposite. We got to go the other way. Nanny, don't be laughing too loud. She know about Just don't let the age fool you. Nanny over here laughing real hard too. How many of you in this room can honestly say that you know that the sacrifice that you made has made you who you are today? It made you stronger. It almost broke you, but it made you stronger. It took you down to your knees. Some of you got broke down so low that you thought you was going to take your life. You thought you was at the end because you thought you was not worth it because they told you and they kept feeding you that bull crap. And you almost believed it, almost fell for it until somebody came along and told you, you know, you're worth more than that, right? God still loves you. People will tell you that your lifestyle, your life, what you're living, how you're living, they will tell you you're going to hell. How you know? Please tell me where it say that at. They can't show you. You know you're not supposed to tell people that they're going to hell. That's you judging them. You're not the judge to send anybody to heaven or hell. But we do that to people. You know, you're going to hell for drinking and smoking. This religion that we were part of growing up had us fooled. Most people joining this church, it was a sacrifice. Because the pastor of this church isn't popular with a lot of pastors. So what happens is when you tell them what church you go to and tell them who your pastor or bishop is, you worship with him? I'm sure Deshaun has made a huge sacrifice running with me. Many people probably told him, you know about your pastor, right? But not one time did he say anything about it or say anything to me until recently. We were having a conversation, and he was like, "Man, but I ain't never came against him." Because the sacrifice that I made is going to be greater in the end. When people really know who you are, they don't care what they say about you because of what they have learned to get to. I've learned who you are, and I learned that this right here means more than what they got to say about you. So with your sincere heart, like Solomon, do the work, build the kingdom. If it costs you, build it, because the reward is going to be great. You're going to lose, but you keep building. You're going to cry, keep building. You don't have it right now, speak it into existence that eventually I'm going to have it. If I got 20 cents in my pocket, I'm going to come drop it in the offering basket. I'm going to drop that because eventually that 20 cents going to turn into 20,000. But I've got to be, I can't be stingy over this little petty thing I got. You know how church people are. They real funny about money. I was talking on a I was on a meeting last night, and they mentioned money. And I had to call and say, hey, I don't agree with the amount of money y'all asking for. But sometimes the Lord is like, you need to back up because you got it. You just don't want to give it because it ain't going to get what you want at that time. And so you got to give up some stuff in order to get the stuff that God has for you. It ain't always popular. It don't always feel good, but it works for your good. David, you had a question? Oh, and so just because I don't agree with the amount that they're asking for don't mean I still can't sow. Y'all catching this? And so I don't agree with what they're asking for, but is it going to make me stop doing the work that I've been put in position to do? No, I'm going to actually work harder. But I'm just I'm letting y'all know how I feel about what y'all asking for, but I'm not really complaining. I'm just telling y'all it got me a little uneasy. But at the same time of being uneasy, I'm going to roll up my sleeves and I'm going to do the work. And that's what Solomon did. He did the work. He built the house of God and made sure that nobody disrespected the house of God. Many people say, well, I respect the house of God, but your mouth is foul. You can respect the house of God, but you don't like the preacher. You don't like the members in the church. So you can't say, here it is, let me tell you, that's not a sacrifice. You coming to church to worship with people that you know you can't stand, that ain't no sacrifice. I'm sorry. That's you just trying to come be. That's just you trying to come to church and get under somebody's skin. But how many of you know that the Bible says that the devil shall flee? There's power in the name of Jesus. And when I start declaring Jesus over some of these folk, they gotta go. There's a great sacrifice that all of you have made coming out on Tuesdays, leaving your warm house, leaving your nice beds to come hear somebody talk about the Lord and give you knowledge and give you power. You make a sacrifice. And here it is. There's a reward that comes with your sacrifice. Because you sat, because you listened, because you tuned in, because you wrote the notes, because you got a word. You take this word and you apply it to tomorrow. And when you continue to make sacrifice throughout your life, God starts to show you. Here it is. The sacrifice you made, another door open. The sacrifice you made, another window open. The sacrifice you made, your children are blessed. Another sacrifice you made, your car note paid. Another sacrifice you made for me, I'm about to keep you in perfect peace if you keep your mind stayed on me. I know y'all gonna get tired of hearing me say that, but there's too many distractions around trying to take our mind off of Jesus. I've been through too much to lose where I am now. I've come through too much. So I don't mind making sacrifices. If I got to sow a $300 seed to get that $10,000 building, I'm going to do what it is that God has called me to do. I know it ain't popular with my wife to sow seeds that we think we ain't got it. But if God told me to do it, then I've got to do what the Lord is telling me to do. I know it's hard to sow seeds in people's business who ain't sold into yours. I know it's hard Hershey to help pay people rent, and ain't nobody sold nothing into you. But God says, keep on doing what you're doing, and your house. That's what the text said. Isn't that what he said? Verse 11. And then he finished the house of the Lord and the king's house. Verse 12. And he appeared to him. Here it is. The Lord appeared to him when he was praying. Most of us who have made, after you make your sacrifice, you go to God. Now, God, you know I didn't have it. Now, Lord, I don't know how we going to get, y'all playing with me tonight. Can I just be real tonight? Like, I know I ain't the only one. Lord, I didn't gave that $300. Now, Lord, now listen, you told me to sow it. Now, I'm going to stand here and wait for you to do it. And then here it is. While Solomon was praying, the scripture says that the Lord showed up and said to him, your house is blessed. Not only is your house blessed, but the sacrifice that you made has made way for this house to be blessed. You want your family blessed? Make the sacrifice. You want your children to go to the best college? It ain't going to come from an application, but it's going to come from you sowing into other people's kids. Yeah, y'all quiet, but it's right. You want a promotion on your job? Start being faithful at the one you own. Make the sacrifice, Gambo. They want you in at 6 in the morning, go to sleep early. I know they calling talking about, hey, it's a good turn up. It's a good turn. Y'all remember that? When you knew you had to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe just me. Everybody in here didn't go to the clubs like me. Knowing that on a Saturday I done went out all night and partied and turned up and you got to get up and sing before the people. And your friends tell you, come on, we ain't going to be out all night. We're going to go out for 1 hour. That 1 hour, we done closed the club. I said I'm going to have, listen, we preset how our night going to go. I'm going to go out for 1 hour. Girl, listen, when that clock strike 11, I'm out. You know I got to get up and lead worship in the morning. You know I got to sit on the mother's board in the morning. You know I got to usher in the morning. You know I got to teach the kids in the morning. And so what you do to make your friends happy, you sacrifice your sleep to go out with them just to find out that you made a sacrifice that you got to pay for in the morning. The mother's board going out to nudie spot bingo nights. Nudie bingo. Nudie bingo. Taking the evangelist with them. Talking about where y'all going? Because the evangelist driving them. And they talking about, girl, you know we got to get up in the morning. I hear that, girl, we got to get up in the morning. Mother, it was just only 1 hour, girl. The evangelist like, the Lord is pleased with our going out. The Lord is pleased in our going out. Come on, girl, 1 glass of Chardonnay ain't going to hurt us. Then that 1 turn into 2, that 2 turn into 3. Then y'all sit in the parking lot talking about, I need some soft French fries. You come to church Sunday morning, you like, ooh, I'm trying to get with Pastor Peaches, but it's just too loud. You got on sunglasses because you didn't went out last night. Those were some of my nights. I didn't went out all night, Saucy. I didn't clubbed hot, as a matter of fact. I done been to about 3 or 4 clubs. Said I ain't gonna be out here long. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna drink nothing. And as soon as that first glass go back, what's that? You know, anybody know what I'm talking about? You see everybody having a good time, you like, I did not come here. I didn't come here to party tonight. And then you start mingling and talking with folk. And the last thing you know is the club closing, your heels in your hand, your wig to the side. You done broke a nail. You got phone numbers in your phone. You ain't know nobody about. People texting you. Thought you gave them the wrong phone number. Tell them your name is Johnny or Chris for me. That's what I tell people. What's your name? My name is Chris. Because I don't want nobody to Google me. People be like, yeah, I know you. No, you don't. My name is Chris. You got a brother that sing? No, 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 no. No, no, I don't even go to church. Anybody ever did that? You saved? Mm-mm. Why you think I'm at the club? I came to find some new friends. Married people lying. You married? Mm-mm. Ain't nothing wrong with having a little friend. You started a little friend under a name that your boo think he don't know, that you think he don't know nothing about. Uh-huh. Y'all telling on yourself tonight. He done went through your phone talking about, let me call Domino's Pizza. Don't call that. Look forward. So, look straight. But you made plenty of sacrifices, Sasa. You made a lot of sacrifices to get to where you are. And so if you made sacrifices, this ain't a real deep Bible study. I just want to help somebody tonight. If you've ever made sacrifices in your life to get to where you are, don't be apologetic to anybody who didn't get you to where you are. If they didn't help you get here, don't say, I'm sorry if I offended you. So what? I'm glad I offended you. I'm glad my lifestyle pisses you off. I'm glad that the car that I drive makes you mad. I'm glad that where I live offends you. And if it does all of that, that means God is blessing the house that I live in. He's doing what the word says. Amen? Comments, questions, concerns, anybody? No. See, the church can't call me Chris. That's my outside name for my outside friend. Don't be going to say, hey, Bishop Chris. No. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Somebody going to come here and talk about, I thought his name was Marquis. No. His name is Chris. No, his name is Chris. I had somebody do that to me in the club. No, your name ain't no Chris. It's Marquis.